Welcome everybody to Randomjeanc Reviews Kingdom, where money buys you happiness and much more. Kingdom is a 2D side-scrolling strategy and resource management title that is part permadeath and roguelike as well. Kingdom is as beautiful as it is simple. So simple in fact that there's no user interface or anything at any point unless you get your crown slammed off your head, but I am getting ahead of myself. It was just released this year on October 21st, 2015 and was developed by Noio and Licorice. Sounds like candy you eat for Halloween. How appropriate. It is currently only on PC and it retails for $9.99. Let us enter the kingdom and find out if it's one worth remembering or one worth forgetting about. You are Agatha, an exile of the faraway kingdom of Temothul, the last of your kind who has been forever cursed to be chased by the minions of the demon king Rodengar. Our story begins in the forest, where your king or queen of various ethnic backgrounds enters a somber and decrepit village. And that's it. I lied. There's no Temothul, there's no Rodengar. I just thought it'd be kind of funny to make a cliche story where there was none, no exposition or anything. Hell, it's not like I needed to know why these things are chasing us or who the hell they are and why they're here, but nope, not important. All jokes aside, I wish we were given a prologue or something, but we got nothing. Presentation is arguably Kingdom's greatest strength. Here's yet another indie title that chooses pixel graphics to craft its world, and as you would know by now, and should know by now, I am a sucker for pixel art. I know some may be turned off by them. Give them a try. I believe this title might change your mind. As simple as these graphics are, they truly are marvelous to look at. I mean, just gaze upon the mesmerizing reflections from the water to the amazing lighting when day and night are upon you. They have the retro feel of DOS computers, yet a modern touch to them, which makes them wonderful. I can see why developers didn't want to clutter up the screen with any sort of health bar, stats, or user interface. It all feels like a cutscene, and without any distractions for the most part, you get to enjoy just about every detail the game has to offer. This is where the minimalistic approach the developers emphasize truly shines, not to mention the amazing sounds. While certain sounds might have a strange pixelated tone, many of them offer amazing sound effects, from the running water to trees being cut down by villagers and the bells of triumph, letting you know you survived yet another night. Managing a kingdom is not as easy as one might think. You begin by galloping through a forest on horseback and enter a dainty camp where nothing is built until you pick up some coins and begin to add villagers to your kingdom. How do you do that exactly? Well, you just toss money at them or near them on the ground and they will pick it up like beggars. In fact, tossing money at everything is how you progress in the game. Chopping trees down, upgrading structures, training archers, builders, farmers, all cost gold. If your pouch of gold gets full, just drop a bunch of money on the ground and it will never disappear. It will be picked up by nearby passing villagers. And as far as I know, they have no limits to the size of their pockets. You see, the villagers are really stupid and won't do anything for themselves until you purchase and make items spawn near them so they can become different classes. And despite you being the ruler of this land, you can't do anything besides drop coins or use coins to build stuff. Let's talk character classes. Archers are essential for hunting animals that produce coins, defending against the demons, or for raiding portals. Farmers grow food, which provide majority of the gold, mid-game and beyond. Builders cut trees down somehow with hammers, move and operate catapults, and of course build structures. Knights protect archers from enemies and are specifically for raiding portals where enemies spawn during nights. The fact that you can't directly assign villagers is a problem, because if you don't know how many villagers of each class you have, then you might have too many of one type of villager, and once a villager has an item, it can never be removed unless an enemy attacks them. It's really a poor design choice, not knowing exactly how many villagers of each class you have, and I understand the developers didn't want to clutter the user interface with anything. Well, at least they could have done is show a statistic near the town center of how many of each class you have, or at least the population of your kingdom. There's been times where I had too many farmers or builders, and due to an attack, since enemies automatically pick up nearby items, it really ruined my playthrough, because villagers will also always just pick up any nearby item or tool that's near them, and there's no way to instruct them of which ones to pick. I guess that's part of the strategy, but really it's a cheap one. Progression in this game is noted by days. As each day passes, enemies grow increasingly more and more numerous and powerful, powerful, specifically on every 5th day, because every 5th day during the night is a blood moon where the number of enemies are significantly higher and seek to destroy everything in sight until they find something to pick up. They will rob villagers of the coin you gave them or the items villagers have until they pick it up, and once they do, they'll return to the portal and ignore everything else. While you can't attack the demons, you can drop your money in front of them so they can ignore you and return back home, and in a way defeat them. Be careful though, because if you die, you will lose everything, and all it takes is one hit or two to knock off your crown, and once it's picked up by them and then you have no one to rescue it, you are done. Instant death. And it's game over, and you'll have to restart the whole thing over again. Exploration is really limited. Even though this is technically a roguelike game, most of the terrain is exactly the same and placed in the same areas. The only differences are the locations of key objects like shrines that enchant walls or increase accuracy of your archers. Other than that, everything is exactly the same and every experience feels identical, no matter which playthrough it is. This is partly due to the fact that you can't construct and place anything to your own accord. It all depends on the land you're at. Every map has a set number of places a wall can go, a tower can go, a farm can go. You can only select which area you might want to place it down upon. Other than that, it's rather restricted. Once you destroy all 4 portals, the game ends and you win. That's it. Roll credits. This game is extremely short. In fact, you can beat it in about 2 to 3 hours or less, depending on how well you do. I was disappointed in how short it was. There's not much to do after you do most of the upgrading, and it really becomes a chore and tedious because while traversing with your horse is somewhat awesome at times, he will tire out about 25 seconds or so. It happens so often, you have to wait a long time before you can run again. And it usually happens during the worst times and it gets you killed instantly, so you have to be careful. It really becomes a chore, especially as your kingdom increases from edge to edge. A major option that helps is that when your horse is tired, if it eats grass, it will be able to run again almost instantly. If it wasn't for that grass, traveling around this world would be unbearable. Kingdom is a magnificent game for what it is, a very simplified resource management game that it actually does so much with only just one kind of resource and with only 2 buttons of input. It is an experience that is truly fun and addicting, especially when you are being swarmed by enemies and you pray that your walls will hold and your armies will succeed. It does tend to bog down after you essentially do everything there is to do when it comes to upgrading your army. I wish there was a way for your villagers to gain some sort of experience at least, as that way the oldest and more experienced villagers get some sort of bonus, maybe 5% accuracy or damage or something like that. There's not much more to do besides just the same repetitive task, which really boils down to expand a little bit, wall up, expand a little more, and wall up again, and continue to do it over and over again. The more you expand, the longer and longer it will take from you to move to one side to the other, and it can be really monotonous, worsened by your horse's lack of stamina and lack of stamina bar. I really wish there was more to see in the forest besides a few statues, and if you're lucky, a few chests will spawn. The roguelike element is as basic as it gets. All it does is flip the locations of statues and key elements, not to mention the lack of information when it comes to your villagers, and not being able to reassign villagers items and duties causes great frustration at times, especially in late game where you have so much to manage and you have no idea how much of what you have and how much you need. Still, Kingdom is a game that is one of the most relaxing and atmospheric games I have ever played. When it's serene, you really feel it, and when it's intense, it can be very, very suspenseful as well. For the price tag of $9.99, it is a bit too steep considering the lack of other worlds, scenarios, story, and achievements, until the recent update of course. It would have been much more fitting for the price tag of this title to be around $5 to $7, mostly due to the shallow gameplay and relatively short length. With all that said, Kingdom receives a 7.0. Checking the review scores on Steam, out of 920 reviews, 81% is where Kingdom stands. There's a small difference, but mostly the community and myself feel the same. A few small improvements and maybe content updates can greatly improve the experience. Thank you all for watching and helping me reach 85 subscribers, so close to 100. Let's get there. Like and comment, especially comment. I love to read comments and talk to you guys. I greatly appreciate all your support. If you want to check out my review of Undertale, click right here. And for my first part of my Hotline Miami 2 Let's Play, click here. Although, fair warning, I do cuss a lot. Next part of that series and my next review are coming. I plan to review a AAA title for the first time. I can't wait. This is Randomjeanc signing off.